Welcome to the People Leaders Podcast, the audio resource for managers and business leaders creating high-performing teams. Join leadership and team development experts Jan and Michelle Turkelson each week as they explore both subjects from every angle. Through practical tips, valuable insights, and compelling interviews with leadership experts around the world, you'll learn how to bring out the best in your staff and how to give your best as a leader.
Okay, Jan, how are you today?
Excellent. I'm really interested and looking forward to this podcast. We are going to talk about a book.
Yeah, so often we have clients in workshops or coaching ask us to recommend them a book on the path of their leadership journey, and this is one of the books that we recommend quite often. And you were just telling me, Jan, it's like one of your all-time favourites.
Oh, yeah, it is the book that I kind of is always first, rolls off the tongue to anyone in any situation. I think it is profound, clear, and gives a really succinct way of operating at your best.
Drum roll. And the book is
The Four Agreements.
The Four Agreements by Don Miguel Ruiz.
Yes, and we will have a link to the book in this podcast.
Yeah.
And so we're going to share with you what those four agreements are and maybe give you some examples of how you can use them, because it is incredibly powerful. Like, we even know teams who've actually used these as team agreements.
They're great. And also in workshops, I've had some people leaders who were open to the idea, had read the book I'd suggested, and we actually used it as a framework for setting up the 2-day workshop. That they were going to be our operating principles for the 2-day workshop.
Beautiful.
So, it worked out really well.
And it's actually based on the Toltec culture, which is a Mesoamerican culture, and I think it dates back to 900 to 1060 CE. So it's a reasonably ancient, but not too ancient, dating back to the Aztec civilization. And what it really does, it's a philosophy that's based on the teachings of this pre-Columbian era of Central America. And what it is, it's really an esoteric tradition, and they say that it's based on not having a war with anyone outside of yourselves, and it's understanding that we have certain programs and things that encourage us to have preconceived ideas and beliefs and rigid concepts. And so these agreements kind of allow us to flex those limiting beliefs and the ways in which we're rigid, because sometimes rigidity in structure helps us to navigate through difficult things because it's clear, it doesn't change, it's consistent. You know what I mean?
It's safe. It's almost like the guideposts for us.
Yeah.
Right? So should we first? Is there anything else you wanted to share about Don Miguel?
No, I just think
interesting.
Yeah, I just think it's a really good way. The other thing I think is that the underlying question that I think this looks at is what is possible. So, for example, if you're in a really testing situation, what is good about this situation that I'm not seeing yet? What meaning can I make out of this particular event that would benefit me? Or if something is happening to me, the question could be is what would I have to believe about myself for me to behave this way or to think this way. So it really allows us to start flexing the way in which we think and feel and believe in order to create a different state and way of operating.
So why don't we actually just do a quick snapshot of what the four agreements are, and then we can deep dive a little bit into each of them. And when we talk about the agreements, these could be almost like rules for life or guidelines to live by. So number one, Jan, first agreement
is be impeccable with your word.
Yeah, and the second agreement, don't take anything personally.
The third agreement is don't make assumptions.
And the fourth agreement, always do your best.
So the first one I use quite a lot. It's be impeccable with your word, and people who I've coached over the years know that coin of phrase, because I use it quite a lot. And that really is speaking with integrity. So it's like, say only what you really mean or what you say you're going to do. And even if you say you're going to do something and something happens that prevents you from doing that, get clear and tell that person or whoever it is that's going to impact what the new situation is. Avoid using the word to speak against yourself or gossip about others. So it's really important. So for you and I, for example, if I have an issue with someone, not that we do have a lot of issues, but if I do have an issue, we always start by saying the reason why I'm telling you this is, so the reason why I'm sharing this with you is to get clarity around what I need to say. So what that does, it allows me to check in with, so am I just diminishing this person just for the sake of gossip, or am I expressing how I'm feeling in order to get clarity and to move forward? So that's what's important about being impeccable with your words. And it's about, using the power of your word in the direction of truth and compassion and love and kindness. So another way of looking at that is to reframe your expressions around judgment. So it's actually not judging someone or finding fault. It really is about what can I accept in this person right now that will allow this situation to be better or for me to feel better. So it's not just about the words that you speak, it's also about how you think as well.
Great. Okay, and number 2, the second agreement, don't take anything personally. And especially the opinion of other people. Don't take it personally, because you can't jump inside their head and know what they're thinking. And so often we take feedback, and in the workplace quite often, the intention of somebody might be to provide you with feedback because they want to support you in your career development, yet it comes out the wrong way. It can come across as either too brash or, too forthright. And then, when you do take it personally, that's when things unravel. And there's that other really good saying is that, your opinion of others has nothing to do with you. Is it something?
Yeah, that's right. That's right, because it's their opinion. It's their world, their reality.
That's right.
And so for personality types, there are certain personality types where this is really challenging, you know what I mean, not taking things personally, because feelers will take things personally.
That's right. And nothing they do has anything to do with you. It's all to do with them. And so when you are taking it personally, you're making their actions about you, and you cannot jump into their head and really understand what is driving their actions. So don't take what they do or say personally, because it's probably not about you, it's about them.
That's right. And I think that moves beautifully into the third agreement, is about not making assumptions, because we don't know what's going inside of people's heads. And I think with this it's about finding that courage and this connection to ask questions and to express what you really want or what you're not clear about. You can communicate with others as clearly as you can to avoid misunderstandings and drama. And sometimes we are going to say things that do create drama and misunderstandings, but we are in integrity if our intention is to get clarity. So just with this one agreement, you can transform so many areas of your life about, not making assumptions.
I'm just thinking, as a people leader, when you go into a one-on-one conversation, there are those underlying assumptions that you have made about the person, or this is going to be a difficult conversation because you're making assumptions about what they're thinking, feeling, and that's why they're behaving in a certain way. So it's almost like if you want to keep yourself from making these assumptions, the first thing to do is ask more questions.
Yeah, beautiful. Yeah,
ask more questions. That's right.
And also this thing about, but this person has a pattern and a behaviour of this, and I have to find examples of this because I have to give them feedback. Do all that. However, when you are speaking to that person, like prepare like what you would be, have specific examples. However, when you are in front of that person, it is extremely important to be fully present. Don't bring your kind of like unconscious biases, which is really difficult because they're unconscious. Notice what you're saying, the words that you're using, how you're feeling about this person. And one of the things that you can do to prepare yourself is start to look at things that are working in your relationship with this person, that this person is doing well, and start from that position.
Yeah, and you can, and you know, if you wanted to dig a little bit deeper in terms of uncovering your unconscious biases, is ask yourself what do I assume I know about this person? How, you know, what am I assuming about their work ethic, about their competence and those sorts of things, and just see what comes up for you. You might find that, you've got a lot of assumptions.
And I'm sure you've got a lot of evidence for those assumptions, because that's what the brain does, right? It'll make you right.
Right, yeah.
So that's the challenge in people leadership, is staying open.
And curious.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, that you may not have all the answers. And on to the fourth agreement, which is always do your best. And this is a very sort of action oriented, and it's sort of almost like the combination of all of them, because like if you can always do your best, wow, you are starting at the top of the mountain if you can always do your best. And how does that translate? Really, again, it's about being conscious of how you are operating moment to moment, meeting to meeting, interaction to interaction. Am I doing my best in terms of my communication with this person? Am I doing my best in terms of putting the amount of effort that I need into this role,
or the amount of energy
job?
that you have? Because when you're in a really up state, right, feeling good, doing your best can look very different to when you're tired and when you're out of balance, but it is still your best with what you've got, with where you are right now.
That's right. Your best is never going to be the same from moment to moment or from, week to week. It's going to be different. Great point, Jan.
Yeah.
So be kind to yourself.
Well, I think that's the
best,
most important thing is this level of kindness, because if you are doing your best looks like avoiding self-judgment, not self-abusing, not having regret, because those emotions actually feel crap. They feel bad. And we have a simple compass in our life. If it feels good, it's usually good for us. If it feels bad, it's usually not good for us. And just connect with how that is feeling, because we have to be our best cheerleaders. We are the ones that need to kind of like encourage ourselves. And in order to, I'm going to move forward in any area of our life, we have to kind of like champion ourselves, like, come on, you can do it. That's right. Like if we were to put how we speak to ourselves on a whiteboard in front of everyone. Yeah, that's right. What is it? Yeah. And if you are diminishing yourself and speaking negatively to yourself, stop. Just stop. Just stop.
Yeah, so we could actually change the first agreement, because we love to change things up. Be impeccable with your words, be impeccable with your thoughts.
That's it. And that's what I think they mean. Their words, thoughts and emotions. That's right.
So if you wanted to move into action in any of these, it might be they're so simple, you can write them down, on the front of your notebook that you take into meetings. Be impeccable with your word. Don't take anything personally. Don't make assumptions. Always do your best. And make that almost, your mantra that you're bringing in, meeting to meeting, moment to moment, interchange to interchange.
That's right. So another way that people have used it is actually having one agreement per week. And so, like being impeccable with my word for a whole week.
Right.
And journaling that. So how was I impeccable with my word? And then the one is not taking things personally. So for the week, how was I able to overcome not taking things personally? When did I actually do well? And when I didn't, what was that dynamic? So again, it's like self-exploration. And in everything that we do, Michelle, it is about knowing yourself.
Self-awareness. And that's the thing, Jan, like we can try and understand ourselves, but there's nothing like asking others for feedback, because they will see you slightly differently. That could illuminate something for you. So can you imagine having the courage as a people leader asking these questions of people who report to you? How impeccable am I My word. What would you say
well,
about
you said,
that?
So some of it is like, well, we were supposed to have, 3 one-on-ones, over the last 2 months, and you've rescheduled every one, things like that. However, there are going to be occasions when we do that, but did you then get back to that person and explain so they were satisfied, getting complete when you actually have to change the situation?
Always doing your best.
Yeah.
Other people could, give you some insight into that. Not making assumptions. Where have I made assumptions?
I tell you what, it is fascinating when you actually hear someone go, talking about you, and you go, is that what you think of me?
And again, it's none of your business.
That's right. But that's so important too.
Even though it's about you.
That's right.
It's a hard concept to wrap your head around, isn't it?
Because what we say and we project is about our values, our beliefs, our background, and you happen to be the topic of that, right? That's all. You are not the cause of it. You are just kind of like a result of what I'm talking about. Yeah. And that's why
your content.
That's right.
You're the content.
That's right. But you are not the cause of it.
Yeah.
You are at cause.
Yeah.
It does come from within, and that's such a powerful position to be in, because you know what? Then you can do something about it, and that's the opportunity for change, isn't it? And living the best life.
So the 4 agreements, we highly recommend it. It's short, it's sharp, it's fantastic, by Don Miguel Ruiz, and we will put the link in this podcast.
Yeah.
So enjoy, love your feedback. Over and out.
We hope you enjoyed today's episode of the People Leaders Podcast. For show notes and other resources, please visit us at peopleleaderspodcast.com. And while you're there, you can subscribe for future episodes so you can continue your own leadership journey. And please be sure to share this and other episodes with your friends and colleagues. The People Leaders Podcast is brought to you by the Experts on Air Podcast Network.